When I first moved into my new apartment, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. It was the beginning of a new chapter in my life. The building was old but charming, with large windows and wooden floors that made gentle sounds when you walked across them. It was located on a quiet street with trees on both sides and a small bakery round the corner. I love the smell of warm bread in the morning. Every day, when I walked outside, the breeze carried the scent of fresh pastries. But moving into a new place also meant meeting new neighbors, and neighbors can be many things: friendly, quiet, mysterious, or even a little strange. I soon learned that my new apartment came with neighbors who each had their own stories. Above my apartment lived a family. I had never seen them clearly, but I knew they had small children. I could sometimes hear the children running around, laughing, or playing with toys. Their footsteps sounded like soft thumps above my ceiling. Tap, tap, tap. Then silence. Then tap, tap, tap again. It didn't bother me, in fact. It reminded me of my childhood. Children bring life to a place, but at night, things were different. I noticed that the parents were seldom at home. The apartment above me became strangely quiet during the evening. Then suddenly, a child would scream loud, sharp, and alarming. The first time I heard it, I sat straight up in bed. It sounded like fear, not just playful noise. Was something wrong? Were the children safe? Were they alone? I didn't know, and I didn't want to jump to conclusions. But the cries continued. Not every night, just sometimes, enough to stay in my mind. Next to my apartment lived a young man. I saw him more often. He appeared to be in his early 20s, maybe a university student. He always wore headphones, and his hair was a little messy, as if he had just woken up. He greeted me politely whenever we passed in the stairwell. "Hey," he would say with a small smile. His voice was calm and gentle. He lived alone, except for a cat. I heard the tiny bell on the cat's collar when it moved. Sometimes I even heard a soft meow through the wall. It made the building feel warmer. One evening, when I was checking my mailbox, the young man came down the stairs with his cat in his arms. The cat was orange, fluffy, and very calm. "It's cold outside," he said, "so I'm not letting him walk tonight." I smiled and nodded. We talked for a moment. I learned that his name was Daniel. He studied engineering at the university not far away. He had moved here because the rent was cheaper and the area was quiet. He didn't seem to know the family upstairs very well either. Life in the building continued quietly for a few days. Then a notice appeared in the hallway near the mailboxes. It said that all tenants would meet to talk about building concerns and shared responsibilities. I thought it was a good idea. I had a few things I wanted to say, especially about the late-night noises above my head. As the day of the meeting approached, I found myself curious. Maybe I would finally meet the family upstairs. Maybe I would learn something about the cries I heard at night. The night before the meeting, I couldn't sleep well. Footsteps echoed in the apartment above me. Quick, uneven steps, then a soft whimper, then the sound of something falling. I got out of bed and stood in the hallway of my apartment, listening. The building felt still, except for the noise above me. I walked to the balcony and looked up. The lights in the apartment above were on, but I couldn't see anyone inside. Then I heard a child whisper, very softly, "Don't cry. It's okay." The voice was comforting, like one sibling trying to calm another. But why were they alone again? I went back inside, but my heart felt heavy. The next evening, I dressed neatly and walked to the common room on the first floor. The room had chairs ranged in a circle and a large window that looked out into the courtyard. Daniel was already there. He waved when he saw me. Other neighbors began to arrive. Some I had never seen before, even though they lived in the same building. A couple entered. The man looked tired. The woman looked frustrated, An older woman sat down with her arms crossed. Finally, the family from upstairs walked in. A man in a work uniform, a woman with dark circles under her eyes, and two little children holding onto their mother's hands. The children looked shy, small, and a little sad. The meeting began. We discussed things like hallway cleanliness, garbage disposal schedules, and shared utility bills. These topics were normal. Everyone spoke. Everyone listened. Then the building manager asked, "Does anyone have other concerns they'd like to bring up?" My heart beat faster. This was the moment. I raised my hand. "Yes," I said. "I want to discuss the noise at night. Sometimes there are loud screams from the apartment above mine, and I'm worried. I just want to know if everything is okay." The room fell quiet. All eyes turned toward the family. The mother looked down. The father took a deep breath. He said softly, "We work night shifts. Both of us. We leave the children with a babysitter, but the babysitter doesn't always show up. Sometimes our oldest takes care of his little sister until we come home." The room felt heavy. The older child looked about 7 years old. The little one maybe 3. The father continued, "They get scared at night when they're alone, and we can't afford a better babysitter right now. We are trying. We really are." The mother wiped tears from her face. The older woman who sat with crossed arms uncrossed them and leaned forward. Her voice softened. "I can help," she said. "I am home every evening. I can check on them. Cook a warm meal if needed." Daniel spoke next. "Me too. I'm usually studying in my apartment. If they need anything, they can knock on my door." I felt something warm inside me. The room felt different now, softer, kinder. The father looked surprised. "You would help us?" The older woman nodded. Daniel nodded. I nodded too. "We are neighbors," I said. "We live under the same roof. We should take care of each other." The mother cried quietly, but this time they were tears of relief, not fear. The children smiled for the first time since entering the room. A new beginning. After that day, everything changed. In the evenings, when the parents went to work, the children sometimes visited Daniel. They played with his cat. The cat especially liked the younger child, who always giggled when the cat rubbed against her legs. Sometimes they came to my apartment. I taught them little things: how to water plants, how to fold paper into small shapes, how to say new words in English. They loved when I showed them how to make paper birds and let them fly across the living room. The older woman on the third floor cooked soup for them on cold nights. Slowly, very slowly, the building stopped feeling like a place full of strangers. It became a home, a real home. Where people cared, where people watched out for each other, where no child had to cry alone at night. The family above me didn't have to apologize anymore. They didn't need to feel ashamed. They just needed support. And they found it. Not through money, not through professional help, but through kindness. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness changes the entire atmosphere of a place. When I think back to the first nights in my apartment, the strange cries, the worries, the curiosity, I realized something important. We never know what others are going through. Sometimes what sounds annoying is really just someone struggling. Sometimes noise is a cry for help. And sometimes being a good neighbor simply means asking, "Are you okay?" and being ready to listen. Now, when I hear the children playing upstairs, I smile. They're happy. They are safe. And everyone in the building, are part of that. We are not just neighbors anymore. We are a community.